All right, so we have two more to go. There's this one and then Kimbi Kimbi. Piako standby, so Kimbi Kimbi is up next. We still have two more to go. This one is the second last, and you need to stay tuned for this one because sasa, ukitaka kufigure out jina ya kutengeneza pesa in the right way and what you're doing wrong, the things you need to change, this is the right person that is going to be talking to you. Alright, Derek Ochieng karibu sana, Celestine Sami, au ni wale watu wenye sasa insomnia inawapeleka. Au ni watu kidogo usingizi Gotide na Olivia Chelagat karibu sana, Florence Ochanda, nimekucheki pale Captain Ezra Otieno karibu sana, ZP What Up, Ezi Neymar karibu sana, Gladys Sanigo karibu sana, Emmanuel karibu sana. Nasema tuko live, Ezi Neymar nimekucheki, Brenda Kabui, mambo Njoki Nganga, Lilian Jalemba, Luna Eve karibuni sana, kina Happy Clare bado wako na sisi, Augo M wako pale, Ernest Munene wako pale pia, karibu sana, ZP welcome, Director Keith Nyamai welcome mazeni na wacheki, ninawaona mmejaja mamo ni live. God be with us, that is Emmanuel. Emmanuel means God be with us, or God with us? God with us. Oh, okay. Nardin Abdi anasema niko ready, niko bahali yage. Ati Obinna akili yangu imejaa. Sasa ndo tunataka kuijaza sasa vizuri. Sasa ile tumejaza na relationship. Sasa wacha tuijaze na pesa. Alafu Kimbi Kimbi akuje sasa tu. Amujambia Kimbi Kimbi vizuri. Na mimi nitawakataza hii maneno yenu hii. Hadi Kimbi. Guys, I don't like it, man. In this show, we gotta be kind, man. We gotta be kind. Me, mambo yenyu ati yo. Ati, leo interview zimekuwa zile ati ya Jose na Kimbi Kimbi. By the way, muna find out kama kina Jose walifika Hash Grill na wakakula kuku. Nilikuwa nataka Jose apatie kuku full. Mama Joseph apatie kuku full apambane nayo. We'll find out for me. I've not managed to go online to check, but naenda baadaye kuangalia. Alright, the video nipatie introduction to songe nayo. What's up, everybody? Oga Top is in the building. It's Monday. Yeah, we know it's Tuesday, but it's still Monday because it's time for Obinna Show live. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and when Obinna is in the building, you know it's time for some inspiration and some motivation. Definitely, we're going to be educating you and entertaining you. We still have two more to go. This is the second last. And you save the best for last, maze. Nimekuwa nimetafuta uja, maze nataka kuja kai chini, maze abongeshe vijana. Because naona venye tunaenda hivi niko like, atuendi poa. Na wazae, hawatuchanui, wazae wako tu hapo, maze, tafuta kazi, jitume, fanya nini. Hakuna mse anakaa chini na bonganasi kama vijana. That's why I had to bring this gentleman to come and talk with us so that at least tunaweza align a few things. Alrighty? Having said that, you know that we're coming live to you from Samaki on Othaya Road. This joint and seafood, same WhatsApp group. Pass by over here. You'll never go wrong. Na pia tuko na pizza. Wale watu kutembea na box tao. Pizza squeezy by the si mambo na box. Squeezy na litoka mbao hivi kama ime. So pass by for that one. Ample parking spaces over here. We do have nyama choma as well. We're in Kileleshwa on Othaya Road. All right, so for the first time on Obinna Show live, makofi tafadhali, Stan Agacho is in the building.
Asante sir.
Karibu.
Asante sir.
Karibu. Haupatikani bro.
My
I've intended for this to happen for the longest. Stan is booked. Baka anagalia kale ambia, let me check my itinerary.
Like, you know, Obinna, you're not saying this thing correctly. Do you know the day you called me? I even remember telling you that I picked your call, Nikisimama. Sinikwambia, why am I standing in them?
No, but that was after.
Yeah.
So I'd looked for you before.
Ulikuwa unatafuta wapi? Because the funny thing is, I'm so given to this generation, my phone number is publicly available on Instagram. Right now. My email address is publicly. What are you talking about?
So Katrina alikuwa ananipanga?
Sijui.
That is fine, it's okay. Wanasema if you want things done well,
you do it.
Do them
yourself.
Katrina, teet. Yeah. But finally you're here.
100%. But isn't that like testament to the kind of time we're living in?
Yeah.
Can you imagine that you can actually say, I want to meet this person, and without any introduction, because your call could have been anybody's call.
True.
It could have been anybody's text. I don't have Truecaller.
True.
Right? So they had no way.
Oh, you just picked a random number?
I pick all calls. So when I picked your calls now, I pick all calls when I have the time. Because I know there are very many people here online, and some of them are even behind me looking at me saying, at you pick which calls? Yeah, I pick calls as when I have time, I'll pick the call. You call me, I'm going to pick, man.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So it has happened, the digital space, man. Digital space. You talk about something, happens.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Pleasure to meet you. I've been your fan for a minute. I've been following up on your talks.
You know, there are people who don't believe that actually there are some solid people who...
No, true story. I've been Stan's fan for a while. I bumped on one of his talks online, and I was like, this gentleman is saying something. And then I just started following, and now normally when you watch something on Instagram, I've noticed, now it suggests. Unaingia pale unapata kuna kengine. I'm like, okay, so I've been getting those short snippets of you in different platforms, talking about different things, and I'm like, I think there's some knowledge that he has about wealth creation. And also direction for the youngins that we need, and that is why I even invited you, because I would really love to bring that to my people. Mimi wase wangu nikipata plan na plug in kila msee aomoke mazi.
Thank you, man. Asante sana.
Yeah.
But I must Obinna Show just say here kabisa that when it comes to wealth creation, wealth knowledge, there are better people, boss. Like there are guys who really understand that thing.
Yeah.
Me, I'm an outsider. I'm not. You cannot say that I'm one of those finance guys. I'm an outsider completely. These are just my stories, bro. Like these are my stories.
Okay.
I have seen firsthand the arrogance of poverty. I have seen I've seen the pain of lack, and the problem of poverty. Poverty will slap you. You know, slapping is already embarrassing, but it will slap you and abuse you in mother tongue. Sasa unajua, you don't even know what's happening. So you find yourself at a place of great disadvantage, and that pain can push you to a place either of destruction, of destiny. So you have to now choose your pain. It's either you're going into the pain of destruction or the pain of destiny. And the funny thing is, both are available. Especially, kama uko place at you feel when you're on a disadvantage and things are not working for you, you're in a difficult country, you have an education system that maybe is working sometimes does not work. You have an economy where you might be very qualified, but it's not meritocratic. So consequently, the person who's best fitted for the job might never get it, and so on. You get that this is now the perfect conditions for cooking one of the best stews. How do you know a good captain? A good captain is never known when the weather is fantastic. A good captain is not known when the conditions are ideal. A good captain is not known when all the instruments are working. I travel out in Africa, and I've happened to spend a lot of time in Uganda. I don't know if you have some. Do you have Ugandan fans? Yeah. Oh, Ugandan fans. So Ugandans will understand this immediately. So there's a very interesting Ugandan saying that says that the man that is unable, are you ready for this one? I don't know if this is PG. That the man that is unable to make love to his wife will blame the slipperiness of the bed sheet. You know, he'll say, me, I'm used to mahogany bed. I'm used to Egyptian cotton. I'm used to... But real Islando men will tell you that the bed does not... I talk about Islando a lot. Because I'm an Islando guy. Hakuna msene story ya Umoja, story ya Salem. There's nothing you can tell me. I've been in all those places. I've lived... I had a butcher in Umoja, so hakuna msene show anything about Atiku hustle, about connection and so on. So my point was that the disadvantaged ecosystem around you is the biggest message that you have what it takes. Come out. By the way, there are no obstacles for anybody anywhere on earth. Every man's ignorance is an obstacle. So what you don't know is what is stopping you.
Oh, wow. That's a new one. I've picked a new one. Your ignorance is your obstacle. What you don't know is what's stopping you. You know, just to throw into that one, I've been thinking about it differently. I have friends who have like crazy money. When I sit down to talk with them, I'm like, how did this guy get this money? Then I remember there is something they know that I don't know. With all my sharpness and street smartness, you sit with someone venye anaongea venye ana reason uko zile. Huyu mzee ndiye akona hizi matrela kwa hii barabara. But there's something they know that you don't know. And that is the difference. Anyway, karibu sana.
Asante sana sir.
Huwa unakasirika?
Nakonga nimejam kila saa. Actually, if you look at my TikTok videos, I look like I can slap somebody. Angalia two comments. I am always spaced. And the reason why I'm always spaced, I'm on a mission.
Okay.
I'm completely on a mission. There are people who will come to the comments and say, these guys, they are talking here. Maybe hata wakitoka hapa wanaenda kupanda Uber msee. Unaona wanaenda kupanda, wanatenga Uber baridi. Unacheki.
Uber baridi ni gani?
Boda. Msee uliomoka.
No, I just call it senke.
Uliomoka buda.
I didn't know. Koriru, unajua boda inaitwa Uber baridi.
My friend.
Koriru, unaniruka hivyo. I thought we family, bro.
Mori uliomoka mzee.
Boda inaitwa Uber baridi.
Ndio Uber baridi mzee.
Suita tu senke.
Hapana mzee.
Ama nduthi.
Hiyo ni wase wameomoka buda. Ingia streets hizi kwa grounds hii ni Uber baridi, unaona? So
now I know.
So guys will come on the comment section and give hate, but I don't have time for haters yani, because me this is a collision of the willing. Like if you listen to me and you see I have something to offer, you come. I'm ready for you more than you're ready for me. Unapata? So I'm ready to walk with you because me my mission is not you. My mission is your bloodline. Because kama we utaomoka, your people are free. And the thing about kuomoka ni ati becoming rich is neither difficult nor hard. Making money is so easy. It is insane. As a matter of fact, I know once I get out of this place, my man, once the kwanza nishaanza kutarget your camera people, all these guys working for you and all those guys. These people, once they see how easy it is to make money, you will see what will happen to their lives. As a matter of fact, let me tell you, you are better off teaching people money than teaching them discipline. Because if they can understand money, discipline will follow. You see what I'm talking about? Okay. If they can understand, and I was sharing this with the young men I work with, right? You're better off teaching people, as opposed to teaching them patriotism, teach them cash, teach them business. I found an interesting study, so maybe a bit about me. So one day nimejitumati kufanya master's degree. And I'll tell you why I went to do a master's degree. But when I entered that class, the first thing that my professor told me, he that does not research must not speak. Because what is he speaking? Especially on serious matters. So I found a study that argued, this is a Harvard Business Review study of 2022, and they were examining about 1,800 entrepreneurs, okay, over 12 years. They actually found something extremely shocking, that those individuals, wale wase wakona plan ya do, those individuals who are written down money game plan, you have written down wealth objectives, those individuals have a 75% likelihood of achieving all their life objectives as compared to those ones without. Story ni ati, kama we ni morio, uko careful na do. Because of your carefulness with money, it fixes every other thing about your life. That individuals with financial objectives have better marriages. Because as you know from statistics, the number one reason, but what do you think is the number one reason of divorce? Take a guess. You're spot on the money. I used to think it is infidelity. I used to think it is communication. I used to think it is in-laws. Can you imagine the number one reason of divorce currently in Africa? 4 out of 10 is cash. So fixing money is when you fix your resources, you fix your life. Let me say it better. When you fix your resources, you fix your life. What is America's number one export side? I want you to tell me. You will think it's technology because they look like they are ruling on tech. You'd think it is it is, American-sponsored democracy, right? But the truth of the matter, boss, when you start studying this thing, you'll find that America's number one export is what? Is gifting. It's entertainment. But what is it about entertainment that America has gotten right? It is the idea that the gifting is the center, but what platforms the gifting is the resources around the gifting. So that changes your worldview, because the person now who's the number one artist in the world, in the US, US, they'll say this is now the number one artist, this is now World Football Championship, we don't even pay, see us chasing American football, and they're saying that's now world football. Anyway, so now you will quickly find that when you say this is the number one artist, what we are really saying is this is the number one resourced artist. And by resource, I don't mean cash. We have sufficient resources to market the person. We have sufficient resources to train the person in many languages. We have sufficient resources to platform the person in many countries. We have sufficient resources to take them on tour. So you quickly find then that your gifting without finance becomes annoyance. But somebody who's moderately gifted with some little money, that gifting can be positioned in ways that even you yourself will not gainsay or resist. So you begin to wonder now, what is the horse and what is the cart? Is it the gifting or is it the resources? I'll tell you the answer. The answer is resources. Haven't you heard that even what we regard as awards, there's a very big resource conversation around awards? So my point here is that you fix, and I'll demonstrate further, you fix a generation by fixing their money. Then everything else will fix itself from the attitude. How I work with young men. I'm very keen with working with young men, with working with young women. Anybody who's interested in building wealth, I'm happy to work with you immediately, right? And many times you will come with some suboptimal expressions. You will find that maybe it could be that you don't have words. I've been accused of having Kiingereza mingi. You could be accused of maybe you don't have words. Maybe you just don't know how to put your words together. You don't know how to arrest ideas in sentences. You don't know how to, as it were, have syntactic structure that communicates your objectives. So what happens then, we start talking, and in your mind you will think that I will tell you, you need to improve your communication because individuals, this is an actual study by Cambridge Business Review, that actually individuals who have superior communication outperform those who don't by 36%. When we are looking at hiring CEOs, when we are looking at hiring organizational leaders, the leading lever is communication and not technical strength. So the temptation will be to think that when you come to a Stan Agacho mentorship session, which is for free, by the way, you will think now I'll give you a repertoire of things to go and do as far as improving your communication is concerned. But that is not the case anyway, baby, because I just need to show you that you are able to make all the money you've ever thought about. And then, as we are mapping your possibility based on your own individual uniqueness, you will quickly find that in the case I need communication in my path, then me starting to communicate becomes very easy. Me, I was a mjengo guy, sawa? Na kwa mjei haikunanga Kiingereza mingi. But I quickly realized in my path now, my journey, which I don't think is yours or anybody who's watching me, everybody has their own journey, right? In my journey, I quickly saw that hiki kitu inaitwa Kiingereza mingi ndio inatuma kuna contractor na kuna laborer. Contractor kazi yake ni nini? Si Kiingereza mingi. Na laborer kazi yake ni mkono. So, nikaona mimi nataka kuwa contractor buda. Kama contractor ni Kiingereza mingi, I started reading adjectives. Ndo nikaambia maboy wangu wa umoja, and I said that thing, right? I told my umoja, you have TV in your house. Ukona TV in your house, na una do. What is that TV doing in your house? Remove that TV from your sitting room. Somebody said, leave us alone with our TV. It's our TV. It's our money. We are going to buy. No problem. If you don't want to listen, see, continue enjoy your TV. The ones who are listening will shortly leave you with your TV. Endelea kula TV hapo na mchanga. Sitakuja kusikia hapa birds chirping in the morning in the leafy suburbs. So you decide which part you want to go. On that same point of Kiingereza mingi now, my mentor told me that when you read books, you are interacting with those authors at their highest level of intelligence. So saizi nikikaa hapa na Obinna na tuchape banta, tunakaa, we're talking, catching up, etc. I'm not even interacting with you at your highest level of intelligence. I will interact with you at your highest level of the day you launch your book, that day, because what happens in book writing, wachana na history ya AI, I'm talking about proper book, traditional book writing. You sit down and say, today my chapter is on influence. You're going to gather your best thoughts on influence, and if you read and you don't agree with it, you destroy. And write again and destroy. As opposed to me giving you 50,000 DMs, Obinna mentor me, Obinna mentor me, Obinna mentor me, Obinna mentor me. I just need to find your book. I just need to find your show, and I can distill the essence that is Obinna into my brand. So when you see Stan Agacho here, you are seated here with Napoleon Hill. I have read his book, Think and Grow Rich. You are seated here with Tony Robbins. I have read his book, Money. You are seated here with David Oyedepo. I have read his book, Understanding Financial Principles. You have seated here with Derek Prince. I've read all these books, baby. And I don't read for reading. That's why it takes a very long time for me to read a book, very long time, because I don't understand reading without ingesting. Unapata? I want to read this book until I become the book.
That takes a lot of time.
It's a slow process.
Chapter moja unaweza ka 1 week.
Or not. Could be, again, unajua unaweza kuwa unasoma buku na kitu unatafuta.
That's true.
Not everything there that is like, like when you're eating fish, I know, who am I to teach you how to eat.
Yeah.
When you're eating fish is fantastic, all of it, and every part of it makes it better, right? But when you're eating it, bones must go on the left and meat must go on the right. So you know what you're looking for.
Okay.
Like in me, I'm not looking for knowledge. I'm looking for a way out. So my motivation is different. There's nobody who is going to examine me of how well I've understood Tony Robbins' book on money. Nobody's ever going to examine me and or pay me for anything. So I'm not reading that book to know. I'm reading that book because I need a way out. Let me tell you more, Buddha, not having transport is difficult. Say, nyi mnaongea story ya Sanford. Do you know, me, I used to come to hustle in Tao. And do you know how I would eat lunch? Take a guess. You can't even, like if I tell you this story, you can't even believe it, but I hope, so there's a guy who we used to do it with. I hope you are in the comments. I just want to dare you to write it. How we used to eat, my friend, is lunchtime Buddha unaingianga tu busy mason Ford. Unatembea tu kwa cheapo place, waiting for somebody to finish eating. Waiting for somebody to finish eating so that you go and
scavenge.
Yeah, man. Now your time, don't think at CRTC was hatujasoma. And don't even think at the CRTC were people without parents and families. We are. And we're speaking proper English. But you see, my story is not a unique story. My story is our story. This is the story of our generation. It's just that we don't have the boldness to say it. Your story is not different. Yours is the same story, and his is the same story. Do you know you'll be very shocked? Tukianza kuongea na hawa si wanawake na sisi hapa. That's why the people who work with me, the people who talk to me, I ask them, do you have food in your house? You'll be very shocked, bro. Unaweza pata umse amejituma, anataka kuserve, him is pursuing his career. He knows he needs to get your attention by his work of excellence. But why? You see, that excellence is delivering to you. Your excellence, you are the excellence because he loves excellence. He has a bigger purpose. His excellence hapa ndo anaenda kuomoka. Unaweza uliza msee ulikujaje job leo ushtuke. You'll be very surprised at the people who are sitting with you in the same office. Ujui msee amekujaje job. You don't know msee ametoka. So unajibeba tu msee na unaishia. Lakini the what should I say? The attitude. My mentor told me this. My mentor told me, I had a very tough mentor. I've had several mentors, but this particular one was a very interesting one. Aliniambia, boss, wacha nikushow, mimi nikikupea do sijakusaidia kitu. Nikikupea do sijakusaidia, and I never used to understand what does he mean by that. Anasema nikikupea do sijakusaidia kitu. Nikikupea do sijakusaidia kitu. That's what he used to say all the time. So he says, I want you to know that where you are is a season. And How and when you come out of that season is up to you. It's up to you. Aya. One day nimeenda, I went to church and this is one of my key mentors, my father, Reverend Julian Kula, my spiritual father. Tumeenda 207 to go. We are at Panari Sky Center. And I walk in and there is this man, he's about 5'9", he's in a deep navy blue suit, brilliant white shirt, red tie. He's pacing around the pulpit like a God's general. People are receiving the word. The atmosphere intense, it feels like an atmosphere of possibility. You enter there, it feels like your true superpower is coming forth. I don't remember anything he said in that sermon, but I remember one thing. He said, Kenya is waiting for you, but you are busy crying about what is not working in your life. What do you mean Kenya is waiting for you and me, I'm here waiting to be helped? Now, people who know the Apostle Dr. Reverend Julian Kula, he's a man of repute. He's a man who has helped many people. He's a guy who he can help you now. I'm like, me, fine, Kenya is waiting for me, but you give me some Kambanyera transport in the home, then tomorrow I can come also and help Kenya. That's the day I realized and say, in fact, ile time the help you're looking for, ni help ya do, mse uko in poverty, rudi tu ushago. If your hustle is, I want to meet Obinna so I can invest in my business, mse toka tu hapo boss. Because and I've raised money, when you start raising money, you'll quickly realize no's are more than yeses. Na sasa imagine, at your whole plan, ni ati, nataka nikam ni meet Babu Owino, anichape 20K. Hiyo ndo plan yako mzee. Haiwezi. You are dead ab initio. A better plan ni Babu Obinna Show uliomoka aje. Obinna niambie mpenyo, we were having a conversation before this meeting, and there's something you told me that completely opened my eyes. That the help you want is for somebody who's ahead of you to come and tell you, Buddha, hii ndo njia. Unaona hapa? Hapa ndo njia. Hapa ndo njia. Pita hapa. That is the help that our generation needs. But the problem is, and this is a problem I see on TikTok, because now some of my TikTok fans, they want me to show them my cars. They want me to show them my houses, which I don't have. They want me to show them something to give them evidence that I have the right, to speak. We have a very bad relationship with success. We have a pathetic relationship with success. Do you know, Ibn, you see, like you now, where you are speaking, I can't even open my mouth. I must sit down and learn, because your results are demonstrating expertise. The biggest thing, me apa we're learning. All these guys, they are properly briefed. We have come here to completely learn. And your biggest celebration will be Stan Agacho live. So we are learning here, and you now must mentor me on this thing. But my healthy relationship with success, when you called me, what did I tell you? I'm speaking to you while standing. I don't speak to anybody who's ahead of me while seated down, whether or not it's a phone call or a call. I will not sit down, because we might be in the same book, but we're in different pages. So that healthy relationship with success gives you the advantage to learn from people who are ahead of you. Listen, people are not the same. Never ever think that people are the same. If by chance you got the opportunity and now you're in a big room, now you're in a big platform, now you're in a big space, it will do you good to correctly cut your size. Do you know, in boxing, people who don't know boxing, they would say, why is it that Mike Tyson cannot fight Floyd Mayweather? See what fight we see, we want to see. But in boxing, there's something called, you have to have the same weight category. Baby, when you go and somebody is above your weight, nyenyekea ulan, usaidike. Don't go there and you're the one who knows. Have you ever met those interns who know more things than the guys who founded the company? They're like, we are telling you, we're the ones who know, we are the generation, we are the guys, I say kwa ground. Kwa ground, this was happening, baby. And many guys, watakuangalia tu, you talk your thing. One example. So one day, one of the most revered speakers, Dr. Miles Monroe, comes to Kenya, right? So Dr. Miles Monroe, for those of us who don't know him, is one of the foremost, most articulate speakers and trainers of our time. At least he's late now. And at this time, it is actually Dr. Reverend Julian Kula who brought him to the country. And he had a couple of sittings. Now, Dr. Miles Munro did many things, but one of his most foundational works, or one of his most remarkable works, was his work around purpose and purpose discovery. Then he talked about rediscovering the kingdom. Then he came about leadership. So it almost seemed as if everything is coming up with this fantastic. Miles Munro, forget teaching crusades and churches, etc. When Miles Munro was doing his Africa tour, do you know who he meets first? Presidents and cabinet secretaries. These are the people he's training. Fantastic. He comes to Kenya. He's on the table. This is a story that is a public story, so I'm not revealing any secrets. He comes to this table. They're at Serena Hotel. Our deputy president at that time, go and do your homework and find out who the deputy. He's on the table, right? And other notable individuals in this country, they're on the table. And you know, Serena Hotel, it's a beautiful Wednesday evening. You have the 8mm blue Serena Hotel. The atmosphere is imbued with possibility. You enter Serena Hotel, if you had stresses, it's like stress is not allowed to enter with you because they just have a way. But I don't know. Have you ever realized when you're hustling, ukiingia place kama hizo, you feel like you belong there? The reason why you feel like you belong there, it is your spirit telling you, Buddha, wewe unafaa kukua hapa. Hapa ndo home, unaona? Aya, lakini lazima ukue pia, you have to be clever enough to know while hapa ndio home hujafika. So he see arrival. You see, this is just pre-visit, reconnaissance, tumekuja kuscope the ground. And that is very important because sometimes when you're in a reconnaissance, the worst thing you can do, ni ati sasa you are greeting people, you're introducing yourself, you are getting people's numbers. Listen, baby, don't seek to be known before time. Seek to know these people who you are trying to introduce yourself, you are trying to shake hands. Let me tell you something, you will not believe, you won't even believe this one. So one of my most favorite tailors is also your tailor. One of my most favorite is also your tailor. I know it very well. He's seated out here. He's called Odundo, right? He's seated out here. Yeah. He shows me, says, you know, by the way, Stan, I want you to help me. I want you to help me with this marketing thing. So foundationally, I do a lot of business strategy. I help SMEs model business. I do a lot of financial strategy. I'm personally responsible for about $100 million FDI, foreign direct investment, of about 10 years. So my work is as a strategy and growth expert is I help businesses fundraise. I help businesses, you know, put together processes, branding, marketing, and so on. And then I'm able to help you get to the next level, at least for business at that time. Now, tells me I know Obinna, I know all these things. Now, what is the temptation? Tells me, by the way, if you want introduction, I can introduce you, he can invite you to his show, and so on. My training is so strict. You see, that invitation, that's the wrong move, baby. That is the wrong move. Even me coming to greet you outside and say, my name is Stan Agacho, by the way, you know, look at my TikTok account, rubbish. Let your work introduce you. If your work today, you try to introduce me to a certain guest here, you realize I was not in a hurry to do it. Don't think I don't want to do it. I want to do it. I even want to take photos and post them right now. But if the person you're introducing me to does not know me, it means I have work to do. I have work to do. Back to Serena, to Serena boss. And I was taught that when you sit before great people, one of the things you have to check ni appetite. Kwanza kama una hustle, my man, unajua appetite hiyo inaweza kuangusha buda. Na memori unaelewa tu story. Appetite ndio lazima ucheck kwanza. Unaelewa. So tumeka hapo learning the story. So I didn't know what was happening. See, we're just seated, Miles speaks, he goes. Later, one of the guys on that table now comes and tells us that Miles is seated, the deputy president is seated there, other people are seated. And then there are these two gentlemen here, Bonnie, there are these two guys here who are talking. You know, they're saying, you know, Papas, I saw this revelation. Miles is just listening. They talked the whole time. These are people who, no platform, nobody knows their name. It was a favor there on that table. Even they're high-fiving because they want to impress Miles Munro so that Miles Munro can take note of them. So that now we can say, everybody in the table is quiet. Now, that table, to sit to the table with Miles Munro, somebody who has his own personal jet, baby, that's not a table. It's not a light table. After a while, they say, ha, ha, ha. They're even high-fiving. Ha. They're excited at their own ignorance, but they don't know it's ignorance. After you wakaishia. So the deputy president, the host, Miles, they're walking. You know what Miles says? He looks at them and says, these guys are fools. When you sit and be, for example, do you think I can now come and start telling you how to increase engagement? Me now, I can now come and start telling you how to increase engagement. Well, so you have to have a healthy relationship with success. Buddha, me, if you are ahead of me, you are ahead of me. I take the position of a student immediately. Because you see, you succeeding does not reduce my succeeding in any way whatsoever. As a matter of fact, it's somehow disadvantageous for you because now you are vanguarding for us. You are clearing the bush. You have battles that you are fighting. We will never have to fight some of the battles you are fighting. You see, that's why I was giving you a flowers earlier, saying you're giving us a voice and you are now shaping culture. Because of you, now I know I can do a live show. Because of you. You see that? Now if I come here and start teaching you how to do live, boss, I tell you, Obinna, the new algorithm of Instagram of 90 days ago is saying that engagement is what is pushing the algorithm, engagement because of 3 C's: community, conversion, and conversation. Talk up, I'm saying, talk up, man. Get out of here, man.
Stan, karibu.
Asante sana. Thank you, sir. I'm happy to be here.
I love listening to you because you say a lot of things at the same time. Some will drop along the way, and then unaweza leta hii story na ulete hii, and then there's a story within a story, then you come back to this other story.
Yeah.
There are some people that we lost along the way. That one I know for sure.
For sure, Buddha.
But there are some that are with us. Okay. There are those, in Babu's interview, Babu said, there are those who are listening to understand. And there are those who are hearing. Yeah.
It's deep.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's deep.
Yeah. And my version always say, listen to understand, don't listen to respond. So that those who are listening to respond or react. The minute you do, but angoji wacha nione hii direction inaenda wapi. Thank you for that. Keep doing that.
Thank you,
sir. We at least offer you a drink kwanza.
Ndakunywa
wacha Pamela kuje. Kuna mwenye anafanya hiyo kazi.
You see now. Angalia sasa. Ati now I'm asking Obinna. I'm not giving Obinna my order. Are you seeing the madness?
Iko tu sawa. Then let's adjust the lighting kidogo. It's needing too much that light because unajua amemove katikati ya kiti, so that light kidogo on the guest. Let's move it nyuma kidogo ama we adjust it. And then even the back light, let's move it a bit back. And then Kimbi na watu wake wakiamua sasa wanataka sasa kwenda kukojoa.
Umefunga mlango.
Wanaenda wakirudi. Decide wanataka kukaa ndani ama wanataka kukaa nje. Pamela, good morning. Network bado ina mambo ni mingi. Tumekuweka sana.
Hapana.
Utazoea. Sisi wengine si piga mpaka asubuhi. By the way, Pamela maiko na sisi tukipiga mpaka asubuhi. She had not come yet. She never did it until like 5 in the morning. Has she? We are corporate times as CKs, indio. We've been doing this thing until 5 in the morning. Tunatoka hivi asubuhi na angalia zetu kozile za okay. Sometimes we used to have like 12 guests.
Are you serious?
Today we are only at 7. You are second last.
And that is my fight with you. Hiyo ndo fight yangu na yako, my biggest fight with you.
Okay.
Your fight ni ati, you see.
Okay.
The problem is our generation, my man.
Then you know I do kiasi.
Our generation, and we look at you.
Okay.
Shida ni ati hatuoni umechapa hii show the whole night. We are seeing your vest, we are seeing your drama, we are seeing your cars. Mbona utuoneshi hii side ya work ethic? Why aren't you showing us what it is to be Obinna? Why aren't you showing? Me, I check. I saw you working out, like your gym, you go to the gym, like you have some discipline.
Yeah.
But history on Resha Online sio hiyo. I don't know, like, is there like a particular reason? Ona nimeanza kuuliza maswali kesho yako.
No, there's a glimpse. There's a glimpse.
Yes, sir.
There are others who have worked with me through the journey. They know me wasifichi blueprint. Mi wanaambia wase imeniwakia jaribu. But ukiona kani ngumu pia achana nayo. We have people here who've been with us from so Mondays we do Zabe from around 10 a.m. Then we start now the guest. Sometimes we start a bit late on Obinna Show like because of movement. Last time we had cash grill, jam, nini, so na fika hapo and set up nini. So we start a bit early. But Monday morning, I get up, I drop my kids to school, then I go to the gym.
Mono to show you story I could drop kids to school.
I do.
Me, only, you know what I see?
Yeah.
What the algorithm shows.
Exactly.
What the algorithm shows.
Exactly.
Algorithm mentioning. But then think about what do you think is on my time feed on my FYP? Just guess.
Inspirational stuff, wealth creation stuff.
The other none of those.
Yeah.
Whatsoever. Me, I research, statistics, STEM. Ile place is STEM. You know.
Oh, by there.
That is now my feed. Sasa, imagine how much following you have on your vest videos, your raunchy dancing videos.
Yeah.
Kuja penetrate paka your side ya STEM.
Imepita.
Sasa because I was so shocked, Boni, when I was speaking to Obinna behind here. Then I asked Obinna, wait a minute. The guy I'm meeting today and the guy I know online, these are two different people. This is a very diligent, focused, driven, stable-headed individual. Huyu mse mwingine hapa ni mse wa
I don't even happy by the no drama now. You're not important because of my path of yeah, you're in showbiz now. What I do is showbiz. Don't you have to give them the show? So drama unaona kama leo venye Otile Brown, BN, Savara wamewakisha. Now that's good for the show business. Yes, umeona nini? Now if they're just relaxed and just releasing songs, guys don't have the so like right now we're waiting for Otile Brown's next jam. We're like, yo man, tunangoja BN next, tunangoja Savara next. We're like, yeah, hapo sasa.
But Sashida, you see, nobody would ever think that Obinna and Stan Agacho brands can go. Like, because I usually had, so guys, I'm being invited here. What do you think? I really like to learn and to listen. Yeah. Because anytime you are speaking, you're only repeating what you know. Yes. Which you do. For that, you don't need to leave your house. True. Right? And say, guys are telling me, it's a different brand. It's a different feel. It's a different vibe and so on. But I met this guy. You could as well be the one even teaching this thing. You might as well. Both you are working the whole night tonight.
Yeah, the whole day and the whole night.
It's insane.
Yeah, now it's 1 a.m. By the time we finish, it will probably be like 2 a.m.
Now
then kimbi aingie. Tupige 2 to 3, labda to 4.
Nani ana watch 2 a.m. on Tuesday?
My people are here, man. They watch.
Yo!
They do. People are insomniacs. Watu kuna mashida, hawezi atalala. Hey. That's why you're here. That's why we're trying to solve problems za usingizi.
Yes,
so we try, we show a bit of both sides, but people pick whatever they want. Okay. Like personally, there are people online who just know me as this arrogant person, this narcissistic person, egocentric person, mse wa madrama, mse wa nini. Then there are people online who just know me as a very good father. And there are people who know me as a very good son.
And you have many kids.
And yes, and I have many kids.
The house is full of children.
Yes.
Is this like a lot of work? Like the production? The production of the children?
It's not like you've never engaged in the production of children. Yeah. So, and then there are people who know me as a very good boss. There are people who also think I'm a very bad boss. There are people who see me as a hard worker. There are people who see me as a lazy one. Perceptions. But that doesn't define who I is. The person you met, that's me.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It's very impressive. I think that side, you see, like that hidden side, personally, I fed from that side more than all the things I've been seeing, your raunchy dances and every other thing.
That's what's up.
Yeah, completely. Because it looks like they're two different people. Completely. So who is Obinna?
Complicated. Depends on who's consuming. No matter what I say, there's someone when I do those raunchy dances, they're like, man,
this is it.
But the people are like, and there are people who, when I'm doing this other thing, they're like, yo. There are people are like, yeah. So different things. That sometimes when I'm cooking, the people are like, yo. I'm like, you're cooking. So different things. Sometimes when I'm in the gym, someone's like, what gym una do? And someone's like, hey, okay, unafinya. Oh, man, nini. So different stroke for different folk. So if I start describing Obinna, I'll say a lot of things, but let everybody consume whatever fits.
I've learned something about you, sir, today. Yes, sir.
Something to drink. Pamela, pole, umesha load sasa. Tukana kupea time kwanza load. Tuli realize you have loaded. Sema na Stan ile kizungu.
Nice to meet you, Pamela.
Yeah.
I've seen you on the show, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I'm just staying.
Okay.
Okay, what can I offer you?
What is in offer?
Like drinks, soft drinks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I will have dawa tea.
Huh?
Dawa tea.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, it's good.
what
Myself,
about
just
you?
tea. Tea is just good. African tea.
Okay.
So you see what I've just told you. You see, like what I've spoken about now. When you said the people will be watching, then I said people have a lot of problems. Nini, the people are insomniacs and stuff. Now there's someone who has taken that personally. This is what they've commented. Anaitwa Roy Aiden. Obinna sasa ni kuto insult sasa.
Hey,
get?
got you.
Then mwingine amesema Eliud be what? So tukiwatch tuko na mashida mingi. You get what I mean?
I see what you're saying now. Yeah,
So
completely.
however you understand has nothing to do with me. Your ignorance is not my responsibility.
Hey, okay.
But that's true.
Yes, sir.
Because what I said, first of all, Obinna is a comedian. So I say things.
In just...
Exactly. Then secondly, it was just there are people who actually have problems who are insomniacs, which is a reality.
That was
But
me.
if the shoe fits,
Enjoy the show.
dun, ta-da! Because also amongst these ones, there are also people who are just like, hey, me, I'm just Obinna Damu. Me, I'm watching this show because ndio inanibamba. Kuna msemo mwenye na watch, me na watch, I learn. Kuna msemo watch, Obinna amevaa ni look gani leo ni copy paste. Kuna msingine anasema mi leo ni guest mgani, mi leo niko hapa because of Stan. Mi si watchingi kipindi lakini leo ni day one because of Stan. Different stroke for different folk. But we still achieve the agenda. You watch the show.
Yes, sir.
Same thing. Obinna will do ABCD, but kuna msara aniona hivi, kuna msara aniona hivi. Doesn't define who I is. Anyway, back to the conversation. Tumeongea about a lot of things. Now I want us to bring it down before we talk about now wealth creation. What wajua watatengenezaje pesa, what works, what has been tried and tested. Let's understand who Stan is.
Wait first. Umesema tumeongea vitu mingi. Hata tujaongea kitu, boss. We have not talked anything. What are you talking about, boss? Is this like your plan to try and make me conclude? Sitoki hapa. Nataka niseme vitu nimekuja
No,
hapa.
nitasema itakuwa around 2 a.m.
Yo iko sawa. Yo iko sawa.
Who is Stan? Where were you born, raised? Where did you go to school? Then also let's find out. Umesema wewe ni mse wa Islando, Umo, Jerry. Let's talk about that. Unaona kwanza wewe ukae ni kama umejua chamo madondo, unaona kani kama wewe ni boy wa Kibombe.
Bombe ni nini?
Watu wa Momoka. You know who my dad is? How I say, you know my dad was in the government of Moi.
Yo.
My dad was working for Kibaki. Now you know us guys in Omlay. I grew up in Omlay. Born and raised. Give us your story, Maze.
I was 17 years old the first time I mixed cement in Nairobi.
You were?
17 years old the first time I mixed cement in Nairobi. I remember that day very well.
Piga mjengo.
It was on August, and you know how the August sun knows how to target. The August sun will never miss its target. It's one of those days when you look on the sky, there is completely nothing to see but a bright burning light. You're tempted to hear in your imagination that eagle sound, whee! And as I was looking at my hands, the cement was mud in my hands. And it took me almost 10 years back. I was in class 7 when I discovered I didn't have a father. I remember that day we were seated at, I don't know about your schools, but what would happen normally is that in the evening, all of you'd go to the school collection center where, you know, parents are coming to pick their children. Some are coming in cars, some are coming in motorbikes, some are buses and so on. So what we used to do, because we had to walk home and we needed to look like we are part of it, we'd sit there and wait for everybody to be picked. I remember that day so well because this day was a bit different. For the longest time, I used to think when you see a male and a female grown-up coming to pick their younger one, that this was a big brother and a big sister coming to pick their small brother. After all, that's the relationship I shared with my sister. We were close like that. But this day something happened that changed my perspective. Remember, again, in class 7 is when you have just been taught in class 5 and class 6. Around that time, you have just been taught reproduction. So consequently, you are understanding a family structure. So you have now the mental capacity to place family structure, social structure. You are getting some introduction to sociology. And this day, I was with my friend Edward Mwangi, my best friend at the time. We are seated there. It's now towards 6:30. His dad used to have a warehouse, so they would fast close work and come and pick him. So he was always one of the last people to go. And what happens is that the male comes out of the car, and the mother comes out of the car, the female comes out of the car, and the female will go and check the child. Check the bag, ensure the lunchbox is there, ensure you ate the lunch, the books are in place, and so on. The father will come out and examine the physical condition of the body. In case you have hurt yourself so that they can hurt you further. There's nothing like you got hurt, right? But this day something happened. This day, at the point of inspection, the male figure grabbed the female figure and kissed her on the forehead and said, "I love you, my wife." And it clicked immediately that this was actually father, this was mother, and this was their child. And I had none. I remember the silence was so loud that day, it felt like somebody blowing a loud whistle in my mind. My stomach turned so hard, I had to bite my tongue. I can still taste the blood, so that I don't cry. I ask myself difficult questions. What is so wrong with us that nothing seems to work? That night was a very difficult night for me because, the other days it was no supper and jokes. This one was no supper and pain. I remember sitting at home, and so I had a small sister who was talking. And that night I told her, what's going to happen? We're going to have something called the growth game. You'll have the ugali, I'll have the tea, because you are so tiny. I'm already an adult, so I don't need the ugali. You take the ugali, I'll take the tea, which was really water. And the hot water is searing my lips. And I have to smile because my small sister needs to believe the lie. Fast forward, I'm back at the construction site. And my body is scarred. My mind is disillusioned. I was at a place where I was asking more questions that my lived experience could answer. And it looked like there was no way out. I was born and bred in Kitale. I'm number 6. I'm number 6 in a family of 7 kids. We are raised by our single mother, my mom. Mom, can you imagine we're on TV, Mom? We are on Obinna live show. Exactly what she said. Because she said the only place you cannot go is where you will not allow your mind to go. She told us that quite often. Fast forward, I'm back at the construction site, and something is not adding up because I'm on Mjengo during the week. In the weekend, I'm a tutor, and tutoring is only in the evening, right? But during the day, I'm selling broilers, and I'm a movie seller. And all this thing is not adding up. There is something that is not adding up. So much effort, so little result. So much expenditure of energy, but it doesn't seem to add up. I realized there was a disadvantage, especially if you're a Mjengo person, you have a lot of idle time. Let me explain. You might be very shocked at that statement. You have a lot of idle time because the stress is on your body and not on your mind. And consequently, if you have been keen on developing your mind is completely idle. You know you are developing your mind when anytime you are expending effort with your hands and your mind is idle, you know you are above that stage. But if you're expending effort with your hand and your mind is equally as busy, you need to upgrade your mind. Many times you don't need to change what your hands is doing, change what your mind is thinking. And I was delivering my body to the Mjengo site for abuse because my mind was never there. My mind was in Washington, D.C. I've said it here many times that you'll shortly see me advising American president. It will happen in my lifetime. Because my mind left a long time ago. It's only my body that you're seeing here. I finished my degree. So Mjengo, get into school, do my degree. But I thought that once you do your degree, umeomoka. Nobody told me that this is a piece of paper that only means what the system told you it means. That truly, baby, you're on your own. That this paper gives you contextual relevance, but has no indication whatsoever on your destiny. So one of the things that gave me the greatest strength was the realization that education is not destiny. Education is methodology. So unaweza pika samaki fry, unaweza pika samaki grilled, unaweza pika samaki steamed, unaweza kula samaki raw. Okay, I didn't know that until niomoke kiasi ndo nikaonanga unaweza kula samaki raw. Me, I thought eating raw samaki could be a thing for broke people. It's very strange. The more unapanda hivi, you know the way shags, cassava is for broke people, shags, ukikuja Nairobi, cassava is for rich people. Because Nairobi chapo, it's so strange. Yeah. When you are chasing these systems like this, you will completely lose your mind. Kwa sababu if I'm in shags, flex ni kubai mkate na maziwa. If I'm in Nairobi, flex ni organic breakfast. Sasa which is which, boss? Unapata? Anyway. Now, discovery education is not destiny. Fantastic. That education is methodology. And I need to remove myself from methodology addiction. So in my community, 1 million nation, it doesn't matter if you're educated, uneducated, semi-educated, education is a rumor, it's inconsequential. Because education is a methodology. When you are cooking ugali, you're not overly addicted at the efficacy of the olutkun, what we call it in Luo, the
Mwiko.
Mwiko. Who cares for the Mwiko? You only care for the mwiko if the mwiko doesn't get the job done. Ndio utasema nipeani hapo mwiko ingine. You see what I'm talking about? Okay, of course if you are a Kenyan millennial, nipe mwiko mwingine can give you PTSD a bit. Wow. I know you relate. Because
kuna wengine wamepata kavi yetu
bali kwa sababu mwiko ulipewa asha kuchapa nayo imevunjika, so wanaitisha reinforcement. But that's not what we be here talking about. What do you want? You want the output. You are not romanticizing how beautiful the stupid sufuria is. The work of the sufuria is to deliver oil at the temperature that it should be at and contain your ingredients so that you have a meal afterwards. I have zero romantic association with the sufuria. What I want is what the sufuria can do for me. So once I realized this is the wrong sufuria, consequently I should go and take a big one. I was cheated in 2014. Nimemaliza university first year. Nakuchapia story yangu sasa. University, my first degree, I'm in entrepreneurship. I'll give you, and my story will keep coming out as we speak. I am now doing my first proper organized business. Remember, I started from Django, transitioned into contracting and so on, realized that I had a disadvantage with language. Kwa sababu, kama uko Mjengo na unataka kuingia contracting, what is the difference between the Mjengo man and the person managing the Mjengo guy? I hope you know it's not skills, it's language. It's language. What's the difference between the foreman and the owner of the nini? Is language. What's the difference between the boss of the foreman and the owner of the company? It's not even qualified. In fact, you might be very surprised that the owner of the company anabonga Kiswahili Kikuyu lakini MD ni engineer. Are you seeing how you have to abandon this addiction of methodology and tools? So you look at the tool for what the tool is. And if the tool is not delivering the result that you require, find the tool that will. Sawa. So my training was never running business. My training was in that regard owning business. So nimeanza kuuza security equipment. I'm now selling security equipment, I'm selling chicken, I'm selling movies, I'm selling meat. But I realized chicken, meat, movies has a scale. They don't have growth. Like, how many chicken do you have to sell to make $1 million? Hizo ni kuku mingi Gathe, hizo ni kuku mingi Morio. Ndo uuze mayai mpaka ufikie $1 million ndo umeuza mayai. So it's not scaling. So of all those biasharas, what was scaling is the security business. Because I can have 5 sites without necessarily having 5 Stan Agachos. Lakini kama unaenda kuuza kuku mse, ndio uanze hata kuscale. Let me tell you, let me say I am one person like this, but I'm selling a product and I want to bank $1 million kutoka kuuza kuku. Hizo ni nyumba ngapi za kuku Gathe? Hizo ni shamba ngapi? So when you begin to do the mathematics, unaona that is going to be a lot of effort, a lot of capital, a lot of labor force. But if I look at the security business, we are selling a service. It's a service. Kwa hivyo hakuna shida ya stock. My only bottleneck is to get more contracts and more contracts and more contracts and so on. We build that business, but as we are building that security and packing business, what happens is, I realize when you enter the boardroom, Buddha, there's a level of knowledge that you need to move from operations to decision. Like ops, there's a level of knowledge. Decision capital ownership is a different knowledge, is a different dimension. I'm sitting in boardrooms. I am used to, we need to come here at 7 a.m. We need to ensure that the facilities are clean. We need to ensure that people have uniforms. We need to ensure that things are working. You enter this side, the conversation is, what is the security market size in Africa? It's completely different thinking. Completely different thinking. Here we are thinking about how do we raise money. When you enter the boardroom is where do we deploy capital. The boardroom wanaongea absolute. They're talking in absolutes. They don't have these things of ifs. At if we get, we will. Hakuna hiyo kitu kama hiyo. In fact, as a matter of fact, when you enter the boardroom, you'll realize it is vision first, then resource next. So it is, what do we want to do? Then how do we get the money for it? Hii side ingine ni, tuko na pesa ngapi? What can we do? Now you see what I'm talking about? So there was more strategy. There was more sophistication. There was more thinking. Ilikuwa level ingine ya kuthink. Now I must admit here, I've never regarded myself as an average person as far as learning is concerned. I might learn slowly. Actually, this will shock very many people, but my primary school people say they are here, they'll say if it's true or not. Me niligonga number last for the longest time. But I knew, baby, by the time we're reaching class 8, you will not come close to me because I'm not a fast learner. I'm not a naturally intelligent person. I have to put in the work. So I have to put in the work, the discipline, the diligence to just come to where you are. And it is true. By the time we're reaching class 8, go and check. Okay, tukifanya KCP hata pia bado nilikuwa tuko manamba last, hakuna shida, but go and check KCP in my school. Go and check. The same thing happened to me in high school. Ufana tu ya number last for the, go and check Aga Khan, you will see it. By the time tunafika form 4, number 1 for 1. But it was not an intelligence thing. It was a thing of, this is what I want, sindio? How do you get there? Niambie tu how you're getting there. Because let me tell you something. Yeah? You see this thing called success? It does not have favorites. It has requirements.
Preach, brother, preach.
Unashika hiyo kitu, you see what I'm talking about?
Preach.
It has what? It has requirements. Meaning, you can predict your success or failure. You can predict your success or failure by the decisions that you're taking now. The problem with decisions is, it gives you the false assumption that you're in charge, but you're not, because your decisions ultimately decide you. So when I'm seated here, this is a live show now, it's very difficult, maybe the recorded one. You see, you can even see how I used to look like from my weight and so on. Everything is decision. Like you, this, your body, this is not, this shows us the kind of person you are as far as your appetites are concerned. You see what I'm talking about? So, Yoko Hasolivo, now I was saying how I went back now to school. I realized, ngoja kwanza, ikitu, this thing is not what I thought. So, I submitted myself to an MBA class nikaenda to learn. So I went to learn MBA for myself so that I understand how business works. But can I shock you? After I learned MBA, I came, set up a business in 2016, a fintech. Exactly 2 years later, I was cheated again. right? And I'm using the word cheated here lightly because corporate language, there are more sophisticated things. There are things called, corporate takeover, such things. So you enter, you have contingent clauses. I don't even know what that is. That, if you don't meet revenue, fine, we are making money, but if you didn't hit the revenue target, we have clawbacks. So you have a company that you started, and the more you work in it, the more you're becoming an employee. Na ushiki nini inaendelea. Kumbe, I didn't understand finance. So the funny thing is, I was going to do medicine. So I hated business from high school. Nilikuwa na avoid soriado kabisa. You see that? So by the time I'm coming to university, I don't even want to do anything as far as business is concerned. So I just landed. I tried medicine. The marks didn't work. So I had to do economics, not as my first choice. No. I went to do economics because in the country I live in, usually kama we utoshi bei, si unarushwa tu hii course utawekwa. Mimi hata ndani ali apply economics, unaona. So nimeweka hapo. And then, so now I've done MBA. I started my fintech, boss. Fintech kwanza ni that time buzzword, 2015-16. Ukisema fintech like this, people fund you. Now, nikatoka hiyo biz. And the reason was that I didn't understand finance. So what would happen is I'm in a boardroom, my own business is being discussed, but I don't think they're not talking English. They're talking English, complete, proper English. And it's not even English complicated, it's simple English, you understand. Hello children, that one. But you can't get. I'm wondering, what are you talking about? What is that? So unajua unaangalia tu hivi, unaangalia sasa, are you okay? I say, yeah. Fantastic, yeah. I'm aligned. You don't even know what you're aligning to. So before I know it, I don't have the majority shareholding, and consequently I was diverted out, and we got a small exit fee, and it is what it is, right? So what do? It's me, I know, boss. My mentor already showed me. When you see results you don't like, just go and find out where the results you like, where they are being made and how they are made. Right? So I realized I had a big deficiency, which is I didn't understand how money works. So I went to University of Nairobi to do my second master's degree, MSc in finance. And that's the day I realized, wait a minute. Boss, let me tell you, kuna shamba la wanyama. Now, there's a very big farm here. And there are animals that are being milked. And I can tell you, you're not the farmer. You're the animal. So you thought that wealth is produced by the direct effort of your hand. That's why you are addicted to sweat. But you don't know that wealth is not built with sweat. Wealth is built with systems. When you're broke, the only thing you're thinking about is who will give me capital. Ndapata capital wapi? I need business. But once you start learning some little about money, you'll quickly find you don't need capital. You need clarity. Have you had something called business model clarity? Unasikianga investor anakuuliza, what's your business model? Those individuals that have a short, clear business model have more funding than those who have a list of 10 things. The clearer you are with your value proposition, the higher your funding capability. Why? Because of operational efficiency. So if you are clear with what you want to do, for example, I want to go to Mombasa. You see that? That's a very easy business to fund. Because, first of all, we know it's Mombasa. We know who's going. It's me. So all of a sudden, we don't have to go shopping for a bus. It's one person. Or if I say, let's go to Mombasa, 10 of us. Immediately, methodology restriction is introduced. Capital preservation. What is the purpose of business? What's the purpose? If somebody asks you today, why do you want to start a business? What's the purpose of enterprise? What is the purpose of entrepreneurship? The purpose of entrepreneurship is maximization of shareholders' wealth or owners of capital. Basically saying, we start business to increase our wealth. We don't start business to increase our money. Those are two different things. Let me stop there for now. But the long and short of it is that I'm a son of a single mother. I have a background in economics. I have done an MSc in finance. I'm writing a PhD in corporate governance. And I am building something called Cora, which is like Google Maps, but for wealth. Because what happened is this. In my life, I have had several mentors. And I have had several teachers. I have had several instructors. But the biggest problems I have had is the same thing you have, my bro. We talked about it. Why is it that we have different results? Why is it that we're in the same class but we have different results? It's because somebody told us, and they didn't even know what they're talking about. Somebody told us that just work hard, go to school, keep your head down, work hard for long, improve your career, behave very well, you'll be promoted, and before you know it, you'll get a mortgage, drive a very nice car, have a happy wife that smiles at you, doesn't even ask you where you are at midnight, right? Smiles at you, asking, this
Have
is the
two
life.
children, boy and girl.
And go to church on Sunday and everybody knows your name, etc.
Then retire well and eat your pension.
You will be shocked. Shock on you. Shock on you. So I quickly found that if you're going to make money, your journey is as unique as your fingerprints. That your biggest advantage is your uniqueness. You see you and your disadvantages, the way you think this is working, this is not working. That concoction, that is what you need you to make wealth. So you quickly begin to find, for instance, there are people who hate risk. Kunawa say, me, I want to see my money. And there are people who love risk. Me, I want to take my money and invest it. Will both of them make money according to what we were taught? No. Because we were taught return is in the ocean where risk is. And if you are risk averse, you are unable to build wealth because the people of risk will go and take the risk and get return. So you now push me to enter a space I am not confident in. I am not able to speak the language. I am not able to dance the dance. And I lose my money because I am not a risk-loving individual. Do you know, I found a study by Cambridge Business, 2016. It was a journal of psychology. They actually found that individuals who match their wealth journey with their unique personality, both advantages and deficiencies, had a 95% likelihood of achieving all their wealth objectives. That you must take your advantages as assets to be taken advantage of, or as assets to fully deploy. For instance, like you now, your black face, your loud voice, your feeling personality, some forced dry jokes, and yet you just laugh and you don't care because it's who you are, right? So those are your advantages. But you also have disadvantages. That the disadvantage is actually communication to inform your path. So you see that I grew up, for example, these are Massachusetts. MIT. So MIT did a study in Kenya here, 2021. And they were studying why is it that we have such high default rates in short-term borrowing? Because it's a concern. There's a lot of short-term borrowing, and there are very high default rates. Now, the reason will completely shock you to blow your, it's not what you think. So their thinking was that the reason why we have high default rates is because the interest is high, okay? So their thesis was, we have high default rates in Kenya because the interest rate is very high. Fantastic. So they started doing the research. But in doing the research, this was a primary research, meaning it was not a desktop study. They actually went to site and observed the phenomena in its natural environment. Or they actually went and talked to the walienda kubongana waseko drowned. And say, okay, fine, tell us, what's your name? What do you do? Why did you borrow? etc. Where do you come from? And so on. They found two shocking things. Number one, they found that the number of women who default loans are higher than the number of men. So immediately there's a question there. Why is it that women default loans more than, and I'm talking about high interest personal loans, okay? Fine, fantastic. So already the thesis that people behave the same is out of the water. Because why is it that women are defaulting more than men? So they say examining the women. Okay. They thought it was something to do with being a woman, but it's not. They found actually that the reason why we have more women defaulting than men is because women carry more trauma. Wait a minute. What has trauma got to do with high interest loans? So they actually found that women who have had some form of traumatic experience, first, before I even go to that, first of all, just being a woman, just because you're a lady, you have 36% likelihood of dying in poverty, just because you're a lady. That's why we have to support our sisters. It is not easy for them. It is not difficult. The playing field is not the same. Who started the banking industry? I want you to answer. It is men. Who started government? Can I tell you? It is men. Who started science? Can I tell you? It is men. Who sets all this political society? Who is it? It is a patriarchal society. So because of that alone, and remember the patriarchy, how it was, because of that alone is already disadvantageous for our sisters and daughters and mothers and girlfriends and wives. Okay. Now, if you're a woman, you're already disadvantaged. Now, if you're a woman with trauma, the odds increase by 2. Become 76%. That if you're a woman who had some traumatic experience in your life, you're now at 76%. Now, when these ladies would borrow loans, in their mind, they are fixing an economic inconvenience. They are sorting an issue. But subconsciously, they're like these people. Have you ever seen these guys who had so much trauma? Life was so painful that they want to end their life and they are slitting their wrists. The scholar argued it is the same phenomena, that subconsciously they have been predisposed to self-sabotage. You see that? So while she's taking a loan, thinking she's sorting economic issues, what is really happening is it is the trauma that happened to her when she was young that has given her a mindset that is self-sabotaging. So in her mind of minds, the subconscious mind, what she's really saying is, I don't deserve this life. So there's a predisposition to sabotage. Okay, for men. Now let me tell you about men. Do you know that as an African man, according to one of these popular Canadian universities, they did a study 2023, and they were examining African males who have grown up in families without fathers. Do you know they actually found that if you grew up not without a male in the house, I'm talking about without a father, that if you grew up without a father, you are 20% times more likely to be incarcerated. Now, for those jurisdictions where incarceration is not a thing, like we don't have widespread racism and so on, it expresses itself by, this one is completely mad, insensitivity to high interest personal debt. So you'll find a lot of people who borrow high interest personal debt and they don't pay back, they grew up without fathers. Yet a lot of people, and I wish I had this problem, there are people who are completely allergic to loans. They will never touch it for touching. Me, I'll borrow a loan even with no reason. Like, there's money to be borrowed, I'm borrowing. Kumbe, I have bigger battles I'm fighting. I have bigger fish to fry. So those dysfunctions, those advantages, disadvantages in my background are all boiling into a nice soup that is actually breaking me or making me. So consequently, my awareness and or leveraging of the advantages and disadvantages is what then gives me the ascendancy. Wealth is not built by what comes in. Wealth is built by what remains. So what comes in is irrelevant. It means then that in the battlefield of wealth, the playing field is level, baby. It is level. It doesn't matter the advantage you have over me, whether it's Head Start, network, whatever it is. Wealth is built by what remains. Now let me shock you further. I found a study by Central Bank of Kenya, and they were examining affordability, and they found that 66% of Kenyans cannot afford their life. 66%, income notwithstanding. It means then the person earning 100K, the person earning 10 million, they're in the same boat. It's just different magnitudes. So who you are is the key to wealth. Then the clearer you're able to map who you are, the better your chances of building. That's why I've committed my life to this thing, because it does not exist before. So we are building something we call kora, which is, this was a personal thing for me, is a multiple string instrument from Ghana. It's a melody, it's a melodious instrument. But kora also means path, it also means circle, it also means revolution. We are building kora, which is like Google Maps but for wealth. Can help locate you. We look at 1,600 different aspects about your life. I test you, it takes 15 minutes, very short. I test you and I give you a financial fitness score. Many of my mentees who come there with I have a lot of money are the ones who have the biggest shock. Because you think, you think that I'm earning a lot of money, I'm very rich. You think you're very rich. But what you don't know is that you're a vampire. Because this a lot of money, which money have you earned that people are not yet earning and they are now broke? You want to tell me you have not had these friends of yours who will tell you, nyie mnaniambia story ya magari, Mercedes, Range Rover, which Range Rover haven't I driven, but it's always in there. It's always where? So where is the Range Rover right now? I call it the curse of liquidity, and it happened to me. The curse of liquidity is the arrogant idea that because I am making money, I must be rich. Because I'm seeing money in my bank account. Money is coming from everywhere. You even think, let me tell you, the thing about making money is very bad because you know what happens? You begin to think. You begin to think you're the blessing of God to your family. You begin to think there's something you've done very right, that even God owes you, that he has showered you with so much cash shock on you. As long as the money in your bank account is money you leveraged your time and skills to earn, that is not wealth. That is capital. And when you eat it, you're becoming a vampire. You are drinking blood. Because that is a reflection of your blood, sweat, and tears. Let me tell you, bro, I can't say this enough. Which property haven't I? Nimenunua mashamba hapa. I can show you mashamba nimenunua, but where? Umenunua mashamba. You know, I said recently, I said, and my community members didn't laugh because I'm training them thoroughly. I said at NTV, or maybe you want to, I don't know, I said at NTV, it is true, I was there. I said land is not an investment. Now, people shouted, it was insane. I said, what kind of school did you go to? I said, I went to University of Nairobi School of Economics. I went to University of Nairobi MBA Strategy. I went to University of MSc Finance. I'm now a London Trade Financial Analyst. I'm writing PhD. Where did you go to school? Show me your numbers. You see, when I said land is not an investment, it's not because I read in a book somewhere. These are my mistakes. These are my mistakes. So I went and bought land. 1 minute. I went and bought land in 2014. Now your time limit, that's 2 years after Mjengo. Meaning that land, I bought it by borrowing. So I've saved 200,000, borrowed 730,000, altogether 930,000. Moro na ino equal nataka musikie kabisa, because anybody who's telling you land in an investment, they are cheating you. Wanakudanganya history kabisa. And I can say that without fear of contradiction because I'm Africa's wealth architect. And I'm now showing you the direction. And I want, sasa nataka msee akuje ya opposite story hapa, or we come and debate. Let's debate this thing so that the nation can be delivered. In 20 facts, and I want to be fact checked. So nimebuy shamba, nimetafuta 200k with a lot of sweat and tears. Nimechukua bank loan 730. After all, land is an investment. You're gonna be rich. You should have seen me the day I was putting that deposit. Nilikuwa nimesema buda Islando sasa mimi na nyinyi story yenu imekui. In my mind I'm already seeing my white Range, I'm seeing my Range Rover Overfinch with white leather seats, buda with leather from Tuscany, Italy. Shock on me. So I bought the land 2014. Let's even assume that the 2 years we didn't invest. So nimebuy shamba 2012, but I finished paying in 2014. Sawa. So let's assume that it is in 2014 that I am now putting. I'm very distracted. I'm so sorry, my brothers. I am so distracted by the conversation there. I feel like I'm so sorry. Like I'm very distracted. If they can just reduce, I'm so sorry. Yeah? I'm so distracted. I just feel like I need to go and talk there. So now we bought 2012, sawa. 2012, 930,000. 930,000, bank 200,000, mine all together. No, 200 mine, bank 730, all together 930. Aya. Nimelipa bank by 2014. I think I've paid everything 1.4 million in. Sawa. Nimebuy shamba backside of Kitengela. Fantastic. Now I'm a landowner It's over for you guys. I'm about to become rich, very rich, super rich. In fact, everybody who I ever DM'd 2014, I don't even think we had DMs. Everybody who I ever DM'd, it's now your turn to DM me. After all, I'm the landowner, baby, now. I'm about to be rich. Fantastic. Now, 2015, see, the land is going up. It's true. Everything they told me will happen, happened. So the land is now going like this. And you know, in your eyes, you just have dollar signs. You have that big smile like when Tom caught Jerry. It is over for you, baby. Aya. 2016, land in a panda too evil. 2017, by 2018, a land that I bought for the 930,000, I think 2018 we were easily at 1.8, 1.9. Minimesha double door. I'm now an investor. I should advise you. I don't know what you're doing in your life. Come here, I tell you, our land is an investment. 2019, no problem. 2020, 2021, me, I collapsed financially. I say it all the time. Right? I collapsed financially, right? And I didn't have cash. So now what do? You start selling assets. Now, and that was down the curse of liquidity because I was wondering, I even had the thing of saying every February I go to Dubai, you know, you're buying Prados, you're buying land, I can show you shoes in my house that I've never even worn because I thought that having, phones, I see my young brothers coming here, phones, shoes, where I went, what I ate, rubbish. I can show you my second-hand suit. You think I care for stupid? It's all rubbish. Which suit haven't I bought? Forget which suit haven't I worn, bro. Unaona haya 2020 sawa. Tumeanza kucrash. Sasa 2021 naanza kuangalia assets. See, we are rich. I've been buying land. I'm a big investor, doubled my money. This is one mistake. Sawa? One mistake. I've not even told you my mistakes. This is just one. Fantastic. Meanwhile, they are still feeding you land is an investment. Buy, it will appreciate. Rubbish. Aya. 2022, where are we? 2.2, 2.3, 2.4. 2023, my land is worth 2.5 million. Sawa. 2023 January, I've given this example to my community. My community members know this. 2023 January, I say, you know what, guys? Nilikuwa nangoja long term, lakini long term imentosha. Sasa wacha niuze hii 2.5. At least I take a break after 1 month, 2 months. They hustle, the streets are tough. I don't know about you, but man, from 2022, the contraction, like it's been tough. Aya. Sasa nauza shamba, nimeweka shamba 2.5 January. 0 for 0. Nobody's buying. Maybe there's a problem with the price. Okay, fine. February, hakuna kitu. Aya. 2023 July, nothing. 2024 August, now 2023 August, nikasema, you know what, guys, you're 0.5 kuleni. I'm now talking to the guy who sold me this land. It is true. We even have a valuation document of 2.5. No problem. Aya. Sasa tumefika August, nobody is willing to give me 2 million. 2024 January, I said, give me 1.8. Nothing. Aya. 2024 still, April, May, give me 1.5. Nothing. Aya. End of 2024, nimesema munipe 930,000. Not even 1.2. 930,000. 0 for 0. 0. Investment. Aya. Now keep that thought in mind. So you have seen the land. Now, according to you guys, I'm super rich. Look at me. I have land at the backside of Kitengela worth 2.5 million shillings. 10 of them, 25 million. Super rich. Rubbish for rubbish. Where is the investment there now? Show me. Show me your rubbish investment. Now we see, okay. If I took the same money, the same cash, one even loan, it was a loan, 200K, my money, 730 loan, pay off the loan by 2014, I'm at a capital of what? 1.2, sawa. Take 1.2 and do the most lazy investment you could ever do. Put it in a balanced portfolio. Sawa. Balanced portfolio is security, financial assets. So our generation are addicted to assets you can touch. The most powerful assets are assets you can't see. That's number one. Number two, land, you are out of time. When you say land, you're out of time, and we'll say it later I'll discuss that a bit more later in the show. But here's my point now. When you take the same amount, the exact same amount of money in 2014, and I grow that money by 16.5%, between 16 and 18.5%, which has been the return, we can draw that line. Do you know what would be my portfolio value right now from that one only? I'm talking about putting that money as 1.2 in 2014 until 2025, 11 years, let me save you, it's 9.5 million shillings, baby. It's 9.5 million shillings that grew by the 8th power of the world. It's called compound. That's the wealth formula. It is compound interest, and you are taught it in class 6. But when they taught it to us, nobody told us that that is the wealth formula. They taught it to us to go and calculate the wealth of other people. Even the teacher who was teaching us did not tell us that this, I teach a money class every Saturday called the only money objectives that you need. There's only one lesson, compound interest. There's no other lesson in that class. It's only one lesson. I teach it every Saturday. I can't even finish teaching compound interest because that is the only thing that matters. If you took 1.4 million in 2014, in 2025 you have a 9.5 million shilling portfolio, you are having passive income. Income that you got without lifting a finger of about 90 to 140,000 shillings. That from one stupid mistake. Now let me ask you a question. A passive income of 140K, see, I would buy that land 10 times over and still have the money. Now you see, you come and tell me land is an investment, but if I ask you who told you land is an investment? The one who told you, Economics 101. Anytime the supplier determines the demand, look for baby oil.
Let's bring it down to compound interest. Let's try and slow it down kidogo. Let's try and talk to Msiako Kampo. Let's try and talk to someone who can access 50,000 Kenya shillings. How do you compound this one to something worthwhile? And can it? Ama lazima tafute meter.
You ask a good question. And that question that you have asked over there, the reason why that's a good question is because it is now going to open our eyes. I told you I'm building Cora. Now, so Cora is the Google Maps for wealth. Why? Because, baby, making money is obvious. Sawa? Kuomoka is obvious. But building money is not. Can I say that one more time? Making cash is obvious, but building wealth is not obvious. Let me say it one more time. Okay, what does it mean to be rich? To be rich, it means you're able to pay for all your bills without hassle. What does it mean to be wealthy? To be wealthy means to have money your children will never spend, and their children after them. Okay. All of us, when we are born, 50,000. I'm answering the 50K question. All of us, when we are born slaves. We are born slaves because you're just being prepared for the harvest. The whole school system is winding you to be milked for 30, 40 years. You know, we live in a country where I said mortgage is not an investment and I was abused online. I now did a video where I went ahead and gave statistics and hard facts and numbers on why mortgage is not, you use the word investment so lightly that somebody even says selling tomatoes is an investment. That's not an investment, that's self-employment.
Survival mode.
But the person who sells tomatoes, I was that person. Miss Limenda Kubai tomatoes, where is this place called Kimana? I've sold tomatoes in Gikomba. So you cannot tell me about that if you sell tomatoes, you cannot build wealth. You'll build wealth, you just need to know that journey, that blueprint. So Cora is all about blueprint thinking. How we start with individuals. We don't come from a place of how much money do you want to make. No, we start with objectives. So if you have 50,000 shillings today, the question you should be asking is not where do I invest. The question you should be asking is what are my wealth objectives? Idonia Kazigani. Wealth is built with objectives. That is a Harvard Business Review study. They actually found that individuals who have written down wealth objectives have a 90% likelihood of achieving all their wealth objectives as compared to those without. So consequently, it means Morio ameandika plan yake ya ndatengeza dongapi this year. Hata ukisema this year ushaanguka. Because again, a CBK study has shown that wealth is built in decades. So you can't talk about years. And that is why unapatanga kuna Morio anafanya painting this month. What do you do? Me, I do painting. Nafanyanga interiors, I do paintings. I do repairs, and so on. Next year, ukikam, me, I do butchery business. Aya. Ukikam the third year, mi nakuwaga msee wa hardware. Buda. See, you're multi-talented, multi-skilled.
Sasa kudiverse.
Una
mambo ni vula.
Buda. So, unapata inakuramba kwa sababu hujakaa long enough kutengeza hiyo do. So wealth is built in objective. It means that unaweza kuwa kwa the right industry, lakini kwa sababu hujakaa long enough uone hiyo do. So if you are saying now that these are my objectives, this is what I want to achieve. Listen to my language now. These are our community members. Onama people, you know this. This is what I want to achieve in the next 10 years. Nataka dongani in the next 10 years. So a good way to write objectives, kwa sababu ndo siseme ni Kiingereza mingi, which life are you seeing? Sawa, in the next 10 years. So where am I living? Simple questions. What am I eating? Where are my children going to school? What is my community like? What is my society? Right? What's my education level? I think all those things have nothing to do with money. You're just basically projecting your life. Lakini nimenotice wasiubonga story ya wase, it's like almost like there's a way gossip affects creativity. Sijui kama umeona hiyo kitu. The more you're talking about people, the more you can't even see your life. Ebu uliza wase wanakuanga na tea sana story ya life yao. Just ask them, but they say, tell me, have you ever thought about the kind of house you want to live in 10 years from today? But asikwambia ati I want a big house. No, tell us, where are you living? Are you living in SA? Are you living in Dubai? Are you living in Nakuru? Okay, do you have a driveway? Do you have dogs? Do you have cats? Okay, what kind of fridge do you have? Is it a double door fridge? Do you have a deep freezer? Uko na TV. Una sasa hii tunabonga story ya TV. Wewe unabonga story ya TV buda na lazima uruke mtaro kuingia kwa hawa yako. Yet you want to tell me you can't see that there's something wrong with that picture? By the way, I found a very shocking study, Nation Media. Nation Media published an article and they argued that they did a research. And in that research, they found that the biggest amount of collateral currently that banks are receiving, guess what it is? TVs and fridges. You saw the title, right? I even feel like standing now. Now let me ask you a question, because the people who told me that TV rubbish, do rich men secure their loans with TVs? Tell me now. You are a rich guy. The bank will come let a fridge. What are you talking about? 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 And I'm glad it came like 4-5 months after I said that thing of TV. Which rich man secures his loan with TVs? Talk up on my
utafanya nipigwe napigwa because of nyinyi.
But this is story yangu.
Nyamaza bro, napigwa because
but this is story yangu. This is my story, you know what I'm talking about. Hii ni story yangu. So 10 years I'll allow you to talk about the kind of car you're driving. You know, this is a country where you will borrow a loan to buy a car and we clap our hands for you. You see how insane we are. This is a country where ati unaweza uza billboard imeandikwa go for holiday and pay later. Kama huwezi afford holiday, you should take a loan to go. So you are sleeping in cost for 1 week. Ndo ukuje ukamuliwe 9 months. Toka hapa my friend.
Stan unaharibu.
Boss. Let me tell you by the way, I say this all the time. By the time I'm done with this generation, consumerism is going to tank. Borrow to consume is there. That is one of the things I'm going to slaughter early in the morning. Borrow to consume is what has kept our generations poor. Do you know how the white man taught us to earn money? Can you just take a guess? If you were to look at the genesis of the economic system, do you know how it started? They came and said, and this was a story, this particular one was like a rich one. So what happened is, I'm moving too much, I know, right? What happened is, they came and said, now you come and dig my land, tomorrow I'll pay you. And they have to come and say, okay, fine, you'll pay me, okay, fine. What will I do with the money? You buy food, take your wife out, buy clothes. It was not connecting. You see what I'm talking about? Because you're saying I buy food. We have food all over around us. You're saying I should, I don't know, I'll use the money to pay my rent. I already have a house. Okay, you're saying we'll use the money to buy land. All this land is ours. This is our community land. We don't have, I have zero incentive to own this land. This is our land. We have always lived here, us and our people. What are you talking about? So the white man said, wait a minute. These are difficult people because they have Ubuntu. What we have at Onama. Your success is my success, my success is your success. Your door is my door is your door. I only think that your door is not my door when I have scarcity mindset because somebody cheated me, that if you succeed, you're reducing the space for success for me. So I think I need to compete with you. Rich people don't compete, they collaborate. They hold hands. We move faster. We move further when we are holding hands. For instance, our 30-second conversation has already set me on a path to do a live show because you told me, mimi nikiona kitu inafanya na kuambia ngapali barabara iko. Na you even told me outrightly what it is that you have done. Exactly what you did. So, except if I'm listening to compete, I'll be like, you're showing off. But if I'm listening to collaborate, I'm like, okay, so you have to be diligent. Okay, fine. So you have to be able to work 10 hours a day. Okay, fine. Then do I have that? Okay, fine. You have to have a team. You talk about your team a lot. So you're not a one-man show person. So I'm already beginning to see, okay, so if it's team, okay, leadership. So I have to lead. Okay, fine. If I'm leading, I have to communicate. If I'm communicating with different people. The way you're talking to her, the way you're talking to him. You can enter technical and talk about, you need, 4K video. You need this frame rate. You need law of thirds. You can come and talk to her. At a language, you see, all those things is what it takes. I would be a fool to think now we are competing. So the Muzungu man says, okay, fine, these guys, let me show you what we're going to do. So what do? They say, fine, okay. What's going to happen now is that you have to pay a tax. If you don't pay tax, you're not allowed to walk around. No problem.
Wow.
Fantastic, we'll come and work. So a guy comes, works just enough to pay the tax. So guys will come to work, 10 a.m. amemaliza, asi amepa taxi yake. So when you pay the tax, you're given that thing to wear. So you can walk around and do your things, interact with people and so on. Because these guys have the monopoly of violence on you. See, they're occupying you. So they're literally telling you what to do. So guys would come work for 10 minutes, they work until 10 a.m. and leave. And these guys, they're like, okay. What do we do? Let them have a house. So we tell them, you have to work, because if you don't work, you won't pay tax. Now, no problem. But if you're going to work, you must live in the farm. Let me ask you a question. Why are there farmhouses in Kericho for the natives who live across the road? Why?
For efficient.
Toka hapa boss. Ndio sasa uingie kwa hiyo nyumba. Si umeingia kwa nyumba sasa? Aya, now he got you properly exactly where he wants you. Who is in charge of the rent? Now it gets worse. So now he's getting you now motivated because all of a sudden you have to work a bit more. You have to work a bit more to pay for the tax. You have to work a bit more to pay for your rent because now I need to pay for my tax, but if I'm not living in that house, I can't. So I have to pay for that rent. No problem. Fantastic. So guys are now working about 4-5, but the commitment is not there. There is hatred and the drive is not there. Sometimes somebody will just say, whatever, man, I'm not feeling this anything. You know what they come and do next? They come and say, okay, while you have to work to pay for your tax and you have to work to pay for your rent, don't worry. We can give you an advance so that you pay now and enjoy, and then later come and work, but you'll work a bit more since we gave you the advance. So the more advance we give you, the more you become ng'ombe yetu ya kukamua. This is a country where you will come and guarantee me in my circle to go and borrow money to buy a curtain that we will do a housewarming for. Tumekuja kukupigia umeenda kubuy curtains za 100k. You went to buy 100,000 shillings worth of curtain from a loan. You the one who guaranteed me. And then the day I'm launching it, we launch it together. We are launching we are launching a prison sentence. Before you become financially independent. As a matter of fact, you have no business touching high interest personal loan that is non-revenue earning. Personal loans are, any loan that is not revenue earning should not be in your life. So that day you feel like I have to choose a high interest personal loan or death, it's a mirage. Baby, it's a ghost. You're not going to die. Nobody ever died from being kicked out of the house. I've been kicked out of many houses. My property has been sold many times. I have been auctioned. I'm even being auctioned right now. I'm here like that. I'm not trying to cheat you that there's this life I'm living that is super high flying. I have my own problems, baby. So there is no emergency that is emergency enough for you to auction your financial destiny cheaply. You see what I'm talking about right now? So personal loans at the poison they give you. So I'm coming back to your question of 50K. Don't think I've forgotten it. So how then do you invest 50K? I said that's the wrong question. The right question is, what are my wealth objectives? Because wealth is built with objectives. So once you crystallize your wealth objectives, the next question that you must now answer is, what is the sweat for those objectives? And what is the system for those objectives? Many of us are deploying only sweat, and consequently, it takes us very long to reach our wealth objectives. By the way, according to a World Bank study, only 20% of adults have wealth objectives. Many of us don't know why we are working, and we don't have any target we are working for. That is why you're fat salary, but you die broke. The days I used to be the director of KCB Bank, National Bank, any bank, whatever it is, I used to hear them from my uncles. We would travel, we would eat, we would dress. Those were the days. We have seen life. Young men, go to school, work hard, work for a bank. Do you know, for the longest time, every time visitors would come to our house, my mom would ask them to get me a job. And this time, I'm now just starting my security business. Because that generation did not understand that employment is slavery. Employment, baby, is capital. Capital. Employment is capital. People will come and say, employment is not a good strategy. No, it depends with you. It can be a good strategy, it can be a bad strategy. It all depends with your uniqueness as a person. 50,000 shillings, what are your wealth objectives? What would I do if I have 50,000 shillings right now? I would invest in clarity. Clarity builds wealth. If you are going to go to Mount Kilimanjaro, the clearer you are on the topography of the journey, the more efficient and effective you are in preparing for that journey. If you interpret Mount Kilimanjaro as Mombasa, you will not climb that mountain. Trust, I went to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. You will not climb that mountain because, first of all, day 2 you're in rainforest. Rainforest is 17 hours of rain. Kwa hivyo kama umeprepare for summer tides, na wewe unaenda Kilimanjaro, but if a shock on you, you will be so shocked. And that is what happens for many of us in our financial journey. Unachapwa tu makofu, you even think it's like ghost. You think you're cast. You're not cast. You just don't have clarity. So the first task is to invest, really to invest in clarity. We do these things for our community members. I don't know if you guys will put our stuff there, but if you find us, we do it. You're able to come, we check. What's your name? What is your age? What is your story? Because your story is your power. There is no thing of how much money can you make, how much money can you invest, how much money can you put together. Wacha hizo stories zote kwanza. Wealth is built with objectives. We need to find your unique fingerprint. There's one wealth coach. He presents himself as a psychologist, and he was arguing that there is a concept called destination fatigue. Destination fatigue is you get tired of anticipating where you want to go. And he examined 1,800 individuals and the different 1,800 strategies they were applying over 12 years. And what he found is that those individuals whose strategy resonated, right, with their unique personalities had a 90% success rate as those who didn't. For instance, now you are my big brother in this thing. I've asked you how you're doing it. It would be foolish for me to go and do what you're doing. What you're doing is a template to build upon. Because if I try cracking jokes, it will never work. I'm not a comedian. But does that mean I can't do a live because I'm not a comedian? Absolutely no. But you see, these are easy things to see. So you will come and your wealth blueprint is buy land, quail eggs, invest, bonds, IPO. But if somebody asks you why are you doing it, you don't have any clear answers. And then you find that fragmented effort does not yield any result. Not because the effort was not efficacious, it's because there was no methodology, subject, agreement. You didn't have harmony. You were on a journey that your body was resisting. It's akin to an obese man who was told to run to lose weight. Run to lose weight is the internet solution for weight loss. But when you speak to proper nutritionists, when you begin to speak to proper health coaches, they'll tell you when you're obese, the last thing you want to do is to run. Because you're killing your knees. Your knees were not meant to carry your obese weight. You're killing your back. You're killing your heart. Your heart now has to beat like madness just to supply your obese muscles, your fat-loaded muscles. And I can talk about fatness confidently because I was fat once. 140 kilos. You can put my photo. It's there. It's a known fact. I was fat once, and I did a video in April of 2021. And then I'm a discipline teacher. You want to tell me myself? I'm a discipline teacher, and I can't even put discipline myself. You see that? So the point is that when somebody is obese, you don't tell them to run to lose weight. Yet, running to lose weight is scientifically accurate as far as weight loss is concerned. But it won't be true for obese people. It won't be true. When an athletic man like yourself wants to reduce your body fat percentage, you'll get into high interval, what is it called, HIT, right? High interval training. You'll get into that high interval training and your body fat will reduce. You'll be able to pinch your stomach and all those things. You'll start seeing your cube at that level of fitness. At earlier levels of fitness, a better strategy is nutrition, because that way it has to reduce to a particular level in order that when you start running, you're not hurting yourself. So your wealth journey is as unique as your fingerprint. So consequently, if you have 50,000 shillings, before you start asking, where should I invest? You should first ask, what are my wealth objectives? Once you find out what your wealth objectives are, then you begin to now choose the vehicle. Is it a vehicle that will give you compound interest? Is it a vehicle that will give you revenue? What vehicle am I choosing? Remember again, every individual has two paths. The first path is financial independence. First. The second path is your wealth journey. Financial independence deals with how do I become free? What does it mean to be free? To be free means, how can I live my life on my terms? How can I live my life without lifting a finger? And for many of us, that's not a big number. It is not. Actually, for many average Kenya, that number is just 150,000, 140,000. I've done the statistics. We've done that quarter for almost 1,800 people. All our clients, they get clarity. I even have mentees, community members, who are waiters. Some of them are 2 years away from freedom. What is the freedom? The freedom is coming out of the hustle. Baby, as long as you're in the hustle all your life, you'll never be rich. And there's a very strong statistical and scientific reason for it. So, Cambridge University did a study on innovation. They did a study on gifting, and they were looking at what is the impact of innovation and gifting on your wealth journey as far as net worth is concerned. And they were studying individuals, and they are looking at what then is the telltale sign. What is the telltale sign of those individuals who their wealth journey will be accelerated? Basically, wanauliza morio watatengeza ile pesa wanataka. So, how is their relationship with their gifting, innovation, talent, and so on? That was what the study started to study. But the statistics found something completely shocking. They actually found that individuals who are not financially independent don't have access to their gifting and innovation. So, see that you're not gifted. Bills imekufrustrate, your gifting is sitting somewhere at the back of your mind. And then the worst part of that study is they actually found that your true wealth is wrapped up on your gifting. Are you seeing now why I said anybody can be rich? But your gifting can never come to the front before you're financially independent. The bills are robbing you of your destiny. So the first thing you need to do is to slaughter bills. Freedom first. So we are all born slaves, all of us. But then let me tell you, you'll be very shocked. Slaves are in Umoja and slaves are in Karen. They're all my clients, they're all my mentees. I'm mentoring all of them. So slave in Umoja, because you have to work to meet your life expenses. Slave in Karen. It's just bigger, but you still have to work to meet your life expenses in Karen. So the slavery is broken when you're able to pay for your life without lifting a finger. So here is how you break slavery. For an average Kenyan, that number is 150K if you're in Nairobi, $1,200. 1,150K if you're in Nairobi. At 150K, you are comfortably affording a 2-3 bedroom house. Yeah, yes, but 3 bedrooms is 33K. You're living in a beautiful gated community, lights, water, all these children playing, you know, even birds once in a while, right? When it's when it's not dry, so that at least you get motivation to go to them. So that's 33K. Then let's assume you eat as much as you rent. So 66, you may buy 33. 33 is 3-bedroom house. 33 is what? Is the food pantry, etc., entertainment, right? And then let's even say you have another 33K for transport, fuel, etc., and bank loans for the car you are trying to impress people who don't even realize you're trying to impress them. Because surely, how do you impress somebody with a car that's less than 10 million anyway? Could you ever impress anybody with a car that you bought on a loan for 4M bond? Which is kweli what kind? Unadharau watu wako aje that you impress na gari ya 4M ulibuy na loan. There's no impressing there. And it even gets worse. I found a Journal of Social Psychology 2016 that found that 89% of social signals don't work. They don't reach. So I'm signaling that I'm better than you. Look at me. Life is good. You should be very impressed about my life. And you're not even getting the message.
Mbona shida zangu niko focus nazo. Are you financially free? Have you attained financial freedom?
Now, I must be honest, because one of the things that I am learning to do, and I shared this with the people I'm mentoring quite a lot, is that I'm learning to say the truth. Right? I'm not financially free. And I'm not financially free because I didn't know I was bound. I did not need to work a day in my life after 2019. I did not need to do. The kind of life I would live in 2019 if I knew what building wealth is. In fact, for you now, for you, you'd have to talk to my number 7 PA, even just to come close, because I was taught eat, drink, risk for breakfast. Eat, drink, risk for breakfast. So you make 2 million, put the money down. Again, you make money, build more. You're at 7M, you're 10M, put the money in. Get business, go hard, get hustle, get industry. There's a time I used to run 15 businesses. I think I had at that point 67 employees. And I want to say here this one so boldly. Do you know how you can fact check me? Go to KRA. PAYE. Like we were doing things at that level, or even paying PAYE. It's properly. Not these games for playing nothing. All that stuff. But I didn't know that doing business, generating revenue, is not wealth. Shocking, eh? That is not wealth. That is not what wealth creation is. Wealth creation is if you can convert your primary income, all revenue, into passive income. It is true for individuals, it is true for corporates. I've been structuring SMEs. Many SMEs actually don't even need to borrow expensive loans, but they just don't know it. Nobody understands. By the way, do you know when you look at a business, there are 3 statements that are of interest. You have your income statement that talks about your revenue, talks about your expenses. So your revenue minus expenses, you have your so-called gross margin, right? Then you load your overheads, you have your profit. Profit is really an indication of efficiency. How well are you managing the buying and selling of whatever it is? Then you have fantastic. Now, for many newbies, have you ever had this thing, what people say, should I do this business? Yes. Then wanakuuliza, profit ni pesa ngapi? Tunatengeza profit ya pesa ngapi? Is broke talking to broke? Is Mr. Broke talking to Mrs. Broke? Is zero insight. Because when you start building wealth, you realize that the real wealth is not in the income statement. As a matter of fact, the income statement could be negative for life. It is mind-bending. Sasa ndo nakushow kama wewe ni morio kama mimi umetoka Islando, unakuja unafika hapo unaambiwa buda hata profit si kitu ya muhimu. All of a sudden unasema sasa hapo there is a sophistication I need. That is why I said, while I'm very happy to tell you about butchery business, na nataka ufanye butchery business, you can do butchery business, but there's a level of butchery business you need to migrate from income statement and enter into the balance sheet. Sawa? Aya. Balance sheet ni nini? Statement of financial position. So balance sheet, think of the balance sheet as the house and think of the income statement as the people in the house doing the activity. So the balance sheet carries the family, the balance sheet carries the business. So the balance sheet is basically your assets as financed by either your capital and or borrowing. Say differently, liabilities. So unaona now umeingia sasa balance sheet. And I know, I'm glad this is a recorded show. Some of these places you'll have to read, to watch many times. Hata mimi nilisoma many times. Nilikuwa nasikia kitu nasema wewe ngoja kwanza. What do you mean that a business can have a negative profit but it's a good business? Like what does that mean? Now, you and I now know. As long as you cannot appreciate that a business can be loss making and it's a good business, there's a level of wealth you'll never enter. Are you now seeing? Kuna do utawai shika, for instance, even you to invest on a Obinna Show. It's a big red. It's a red that goes like this. And nobody has promised you that it will reach here and turn. Nobody has told you that, you know, after 6 months of bleeding 100K, 200K every day, finally nobody has told you that whatsoever. But you can see it on the balance sheet. Because while the cash flow could be dipping, the balance sheet could be rising because you're investing in the vehicle.
Preach, brother, preach.
You are investing in the vehicle. So think of it like this, uko kwa hii gari buda, yani this car is not making you money, sawa? Umebeba wase wawili kwa hii gari and you're not making money. But what you are doing, unatengeza viti. Unaongeza distance ya hii gari. Let me invest in the engine. Sawa, you get a better driver. All these are assets that are improving the usefulness. So the value proposition, what you are selling is, I'll move you from point A to point B. Sawa, na you have a Mamba bike. Black Mamba. Gen Zs won't even get this. So in olden times, we used to have a Boda, tuk-tuk, but there used to be a black bike from India. Buddha Mluya asikubebe kwa hiyo bike kama umetoka kukula githeri. And then there's a way it has to make sure a man is stretching. And then the seat was elevated and the passenger seat was somehow at a level where in the case of any aflatoxin release, it is going to embrace your face. But you must humbly accept it because otherwise utatembea tu sasa. Na hakuna option. So you are basically saying that mi biashara yangu ni kukumove from point A to point B, but I'm saying now, na move mse moja, sawa? But kama na move mse moja, what is my cost? See, my cost ni huyo mse ana ride your bike, na kuweka oil, na vitu kazi kuweka oil kwa chain and so on. And then, but I'm still moving people from point A to point B. But na notice, kila sana beba wase, na wachanga wase wengine, sinisa beba wase watatu. So how do we improve this thing to carry more people? But as you're improving this thing to carry more people, you're spending. And you're not getting enough money because not enough people know that this thing is there. So when you carry, you make money, but many days you don't carry. But does it mean you don't have a business? You have a business. Because hautengezi do, lakini you have increased your capability to make it. You see what I'm talking about? So balance sheet is important as well and so on. And there's a lot of things we can talk about the balance sheet. But the one that is shocking, the cash flow statement. That's the one that is shocking. That is the one that is shocking the most for businesses. My thesis was that many SMEs are borrowing and they don't need to borrow. That's my point, that they're borrowing, but they don't need to borrow because of a simple structuring issue. Okay, fantastic. So, what is in the cash flow statement? The cash flow statement begins by analyzing what are those cash flows that have been raised from operations, i.e., ukiangalia kwa bank account yako, hiyo pesa iko hapo ndani imetoka wapi? Ni do ulipewa na bank ama na mabesa wako uinvest? Ama ni do uliuza meza ama umeuza bike ama umeuza kitu mzee kwa biz? Ama ni do ulipata ukiuza your main biz? So if you're a butchery person now, for the sake of consistency, I will now take a butchery business, I will stick with it. I did butchery business at Pipeline, Fresh Cuts Butchery, right behind Taj Mall. First butchery on the right. It was me. And that's not a long time ago. That was 2014, 2015. Nikaanza kufanya biashara butchery. So let's talk about the butchery business. So set up your butchery, uko na weighing scale, uko na fridge, uko na weighing scale, uko na fridge, uko na shoka, si ndio?
Uko na tree stamp.
Hivi vitu zote, do you sell these things? Wewe unauza nyama.
Yes,
but you have these other things hapa. Hizi vitu zingine ni hiyo ndo balance sheet yako buda. Unaona? Now let me show you. If you expanded your balance sheet by buying an automatic machine, what have you done? So you get more customers because sasa, people knew you as the person who has this butchery where when you buy meat, iko na mfupa inakudunga-dunga. The day you improve your capability by investing in an automatic saw, now you're cutting meat a bit more neater.
Yeah.
People now begin to know that, and this is how I know you're the true boss, because you're outworking everybody. Everybody is here completely asleep, but you, your eyes, ni kama ulikula ujipawa asubuhi.
Watu wamelemewa.
It is difficult.
The video we've been here for how long? This one has been how long this with Stan?
2 hours now.
2 hours, 9 minutes.
We can stop it and we continue another day. No, we can stop here, it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can stop here because I can see everybody's completely gone. People are completely tired.
Mutamanage kufanya interview ya kimbi kimbi kweli? Sioni.
Even the wife is calling. Hello. Where you are calling me and I'm live. Let me call you back. Is this even allowed?
No, finish. She's first lady. First ladies are given. Mwambie tu hata we are finishing.
I think because I can hear myself at the background.
Yeah. So what we can do, we can stop
like
there.
5
It's
minutes?
been 2 hours.
It's a lot.
2 hours, 9 minutes. Na imekaa tu nikaa tumeanza tu kuchat tu sasa hivi.
Hatujaingia.
Hata sijafika kwa maswali, hata tujaanza.
Actually, the questions you sent me, we've not touched them.
We've not even touched. So what we do is this. We'll have part 2. This part 1 was introduction.
I hope we have content that is good enough for introduction.
No, it's okay. We've tackled a lot of things. So part 2 we'll have now what to do where and how. Now we've just painted a picture of a couple of things that are wrong. Actually, the conversation we've had is a number of things that we are doing wrong.
Oh yeah, that's what it is.
That is what we've done. We've just said the things we are doing wrong. Now we need to know what we need to do to change ABCD.
Can we continue on the things we're doing wrong? There are more things. Like there are very more critical things. For instance, do you know a big part of our generation is being driven? You see that story I told you about, unakuja unaingishwa Kericho, unaambiwa sasa ingia hapa, anza kulipa rent, we will even advance for you rent, so you now become a proper cow for milking.
Yeah.
There are such structures in this country, which me I'm exposing, that are intentionally taking people who are extremely intelligent, very high revenue earning people, but they will never ever come out of the hustle because their whole sweat will be banked in another country. And we must deal with those things because you will find that and I'll come with models here. Averagely, my brother, even for you, 4 to 7 years of focused work with average income is enough to remove you from the hustle. And I'm talking about freedom. So is enough to, you see that 140K I talked about? 140K umetoka hustle. With average income, you can build a portfolio that will pay you that 140K, you and your children, the rest of your life without lifting a figure forever. You don't have to invest in Kenya. You can invest everywhere else, and the Kenyan government is securing it. Do you even know that? That the Kenyan government will secure, that's what I'm talking about. The Kenyan government will secure. What are you talking? So one day I met
You know we're still live.
no way! So I met. You know what he tells me? He said, you don't know how to make money. You don't know. My community members, I have told them, because of could it be that my wife is calling me because there's something she's seeing?
No,
Let me tell you. My community members, I've discouraged them from starting business. Entrepreneurship is not the answer. It is a big answer, but not for everybody. What is the survival rate for startups? Let's go there, baby. What is the survival rate? Tell me. So
Umekaa chini tena.
oh yeah. Okay. So let's
Tumesema tuna postpone.
Oh yeah, tulisema tuna postpone. Tuache story hapo.
We'll have round 2. We'll pick it up from there. Wacha tuache mpumzike. Hata I want to talk to Kimbi tuone kama tunaweza songeza yake next Monday because the team is very fatigued. Mi bado naweza sukuma, bado naona macho bado iko rada, lakini we need the team. Korir kidogo ayuko. Korir ameshika hivi kamera.
No man.
Amekuwa kizoom back to back.
Me, I have a better idea if you consider it. We'll do the part 2, but let's talk you and I. We just put cameras. We talk.
Okay.
Kabisa, alafu sasa, we do part 2, no problem. But we just put cameras and people go there to sleep as we talk another day. Then all this stuff. See, we have done the message. Fantastic.
We'll see if we done, we post it.
Quick.
All right, thank you for watching this one. We're going to leave it at that part for now, and then we see how it goes. So remember to subscribe if you have not, Maze. This is the only support we need from you guys. Must subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. And while I let you go, let me let you know about Mr. Frames Kenya and of course Fervent Properties. Good night, God bless, and thank you for today, Maze. We don't take it for granted. Asante sana. Thank you so much, Stan.
What's up everybody, Oga top in the building, karibu nyumbani, hapa ni kwangu. Yes, so this is my plot, this is my 50 by 100 courtesy of Fervent Properties. So mimi nimechukua the corner one because a new project, alafu nataka the 21 of you mchukue hizi zingine mkuje mkue majirani zangu. Okay, think about it. Every day you wake up in the morning, unapata nimekaa hapa kwa balcony yangu nakwambia hi neighbor, unaniambia hi neighbor, Bwana asifiwe, unasema amen. Make the right decision now. 750,000 Kenya shillings cash money, you get your 50 by 100. Na wala kulipa pole pole, it is 850. All right, we are in Koma town. This is 300 meters from Kangundo Road. Alafu maji iko hapa, stima iko hapa, barabara ndio hii. Alafu ona venye kumetulia. Alafu look at the greenery, very chill, a very nice place to settle down.